Friends, before we start, I would like to give a short introduction of our today's guest. So, as we all know, communication is a key role in shaping your personal and professional growth, as communication brings people together and close to each other. And as far as English language is concerned, it is backbone of every trainer in today's training industry. So, today in our show, we have an expert from the field of communication. She is an educationist, content strategist, writer, business communication expert, teachers trainers, corporate trainer, life coach and NLP practitioner with more than 15 years of teaching experience and 9 plus years of experience in training. So may I please welcome one and only very dynamic and multifaceted personality, Divya Lakhera. Ma'am, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anurag. And I'm so excited and so happy to be here on this show. It's a wonderful opportunity. So thank you so much.
I start with my first question. It's not exactly a question and something that we would like to know about your journey.
Okay. So wonderful. And thank you so much. Yeah. So my journey as a trainer has been very, very interesting. Like I relocated to Nagpur in about 2011 and all around I could see that people were they had technical degrees left, right and center, but somewhere employment opportunities were missing. And I could see that highly accomplished people were also settling for jobs which were not suitable for their level. So this really made me think, what was this big gap between the technical degrees and getting the employment? And then that made me reflect that maybe somewhere in this race to earn money and become technically proficient, we have relegated languages to backseat, not realizing that it is the push of communication skills that actually propels an individual forward. And we all know that it's 85% communication skills which determines a person's success in any field. So you may be having all the hard skills, but if you don't have this art of communicating, then those skills will not be of much use, I would say. So that was the reason. And then either you get into the system and keep complaining about the system, but we all trainers, I think, have this great wish to change something, and that is why we become trainers. So I decided to do something about it and got into training. And then since then it's been a very interesting journey. I was into students training, then got into teachers and trainers training, and not easy. Had to learn a lot, introspect a lot, write a lot of books, do NLP, understand life skills, introspect a lot. But then it's been a wonderful journey, I would say. I'm still learning. We all are learners. So, yes. And for me, the basic principle is that every individual is gifted. Everyone has the talent. Somewhere, if they're facing deadlocks for success, it is because they have not been trained to strive for that particular aspect. And that is where we come in. And I have trained models and business professionals, corporate teachers, trainers, housewives, you just name it. And I think this communication skills and soft skills are so much in demand these days. There has just been no dearth of training sessions. I travel to different parts of the country, to the remotest of areas, to the best of cities. But it's been a very, very interesting learning scenario for me. And now I'm writing a book. So that is how it's been. Very, 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 very inspiring, enriching journey, I would say. Yes. So over to you.
That's
Anurag.
Well said.
Yeah,
That's well said, that everyone is unique. Just you need to know yourself. Yeah, that was really amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was so amazing and inspiring too.
Very good evening, ma'am, and it's our pleasure to have you with us and to get to know insights of what you have been through and how was your journey. But I would love to ask you one more question. That is, could you please share some tips on how trainers can improve their communicating in any forum or any other training platform?
Yeah. So, that is a very, very prevalent question for today's times, I would say. Because trainers, first of all, like whenever, if they are conducting a session or giving a presentation or being the keynote speakers, wherever, in whichever position or in wherever, in whichever forum you are being judged. People are judging you at all times, and they are judging you for the command that you have over the language. So language proficiency for trainers becomes even more vital, even more important. And I would like to share a quote from Greek philosopher Socrates. He said, speak so that I may see you. So a person may look very, very attractive, very, very charming, but the moment the person speaks, we get to know the real personality. So for trainers, I would say it's a huge responsibility, but how to improve? Now, there are various ways in which we can improve. First of all, I would just say whenever we have to speak about something, how does that thought come into our mind? So for me to be able to speak about anything, whether it's tangible or intangible, it has to have some kind of existence in the world around me. When I find that this is the idea, or whatever that thing is, that becomes an idea in my head, now that idea is going to be attracting more ideas, and gradually that becomes my thought process. And when I put that thought process into words, that becomes my expression. So for trainers, it is very important to understand how the thought process is working, how they're connecting the ideas. Are they having the suitable words to express those ideas? I won't say that you have to be very proficient in grammar, but you have to be very proficient in expressing yourself. The word should be there for you. It shouldn't be that you are wanting to say something, but you are not getting the right word. Like we all know the analogy of a water tank, which is filled with water up to the brim, but there's no outlet. So if there's no outlet, what will happen to that water tank? The water is just going to stagnate there. The water is not going to reach where it is supposed to be reaching. And people, the target users will not get the benefit of that water because it never reached them. Similarly, there's so much of information that we all have, but if there's no outlet, how do we take it to a larger audience? So trainers, I think, should really, really work at having a storehouse of very, very effective vocabulary. And it doesn't mean that they have to have very, very difficult words in their kitty. Like if you listen to the speeches by famous people, they don't use big words, they don't use jargons, they don't use such complicated language that we cannot understand. They speak very simple language. But what impresses us is the lucidity of thought, the expression, the connecting of ideas. So that is what I think trainers really need to work upon. You know, how to, the moment, like suppose if it's motivation. So one tip I would like to give everyone, suppose it's motivation you're going to be talking about. And if you just start with basic questions like what is motivation? When do we need motivation? Why do we need motivation? Who all need motivation? Where all motivation is essential? So these WH questions, they themselves become the starting for structuring your presentation or structuring your speech. So trainers, as professionals, I think if we just have these in our mindset, the expression becomes much, much easier. And I mean, it's not only for trainers, it's for everyone. Reading is very important. So many times we don't want to read because the columns are so lengthy and we are getting stuck at certain words. So what do we do at that time? Suppose if I'm reading an article and everywhere the language of internet is English, the global language is English. So you cannot depend much on Google Translator. If you really want to get the crux, the essence of an article, you have to read it in that language. What do I do when I get stuck with a certain word? Do I just let it be, or do I really understand how to use it in my vocabulary? So that is very, very important. English, because the words get so confusing, we get a little scared, a little apprehensive of using those words in our language. So that should be avoided. Speak up, read a lot, listen to a lot of people speaking English. That is when think in English. So I say read, listen, speak, write, all these skills will help you become more proficient in any language that you are wishing to perfect. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So
fantastic. That's
over to you,
fantastic.
Sally.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
That
Yeah,
was wonderful.
so,
That the
Yes,
wonderful quote you said, speak so that I may see you. That I love this quote you said.
yes. And in fact, Socrates said that people who see with their eyes are blind. So if you see with your eyes, you are just looking at the half the picture. We get to know people when they speak, and the words actually bring out the inner you. They shape your personality. They talk about you. They express everything. We may just see the outer you when we look at your appearance, but your inner you is revealed the moment you speak. So that's the kind of power
Exactly.
the words have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel very, very strongly. And one more tip I'd like to give. I mean it because it's for trainers. Like we say, learners have learning styles. I really feel that trainers also have training styles. And if a trainer has a particular training style, he would like to conduct the sessions in that particular style only. So sometimes the learners may not be learning that way. And do you know how do we get this training style or teaching style? Do you want to know about that?
of course,
Yeah,
of
we would
course.
love to.
Yeah, yeah. So, see, we all learn in a particular way. So, suppose if I'm a visual learner, and obviously, my training style will have more of diagrams, images, and more of pictures. But in my training room, there are auditory learners and kinesthetic learners sitting too. So I have to change and involve all three kinds of trainings in my program. So that will make it interesting. I learned it because I'm a pakka visual learner. But when I got into training, I realized, oh, I have to change. It's not going to be effective if I just continue doing things the way I wish it to. So one needs to evolve, one needs to change, one needs to learn. That's very, very important. Yes.
Hi Divya,
Hi, Sapna.
it's a great
So good to
session.
see you here.
Thank you so
Thank you so much. I'm enjoying being here, and really, you all are so wonderful.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. So my question, like I really wanted to know, like, could you please tell us some don'ts that trainers should avoid while communicating in forum or any other training platform? Some don'ts.
Yeah, there are many, many don'ts that one needs to avoid at all times. First of all, I feel whenever you are going for a training session, be there in that moment. So many times we enter a training room, but we may be thinking of something else. Like I enter the training room and I could be thinking of the EMI that I have to pay. Now, what's happened? The moment my focus shifts to some other thought, it reflects in my body language. And the trainees, they are very smart at catching this, because we think we are judging them or evaluating them, but I see 100 pairs of eyes or 200 pairs of eyes. They are the ones who are evaluating us at all times. So being there in that moment and really involving yourself with whatever you are presenting to them, putting your every bit into it, that is the first thing that the trainer really has to prepare himself or herself for. The speech, the voice, how do you speak? Now, like I shared earlier, that there are many who are good with seeing the diagrams, but they want to listen to you. So the effectiveness in your voice, the modulation, the pitching, the tone, everything has to sound very pleasing to the trainees. If it is harsh or it is monotonous, the listener will just shut the brain. It is not going to be effective at all. So I don't say that one has to have very difficult words or very high flown language. Not at all. Keep your language simple, but connect with the trainees, build heart to heart connections, and be there with this determination that your training is going to transform this batch. Definitely. I mean, you have to believe in it first, then only it gets reflected to the participants also. So that conviction, that belief that it's going to work, that's very, very important. We all are here for transforming lives. So, and if I go there shaking or nervous, or will I be able to do it or not? So, gone. I mean, people have just judged you there. And a trainer, I feel, never sheds its robe. Whether you are inside the training room or outside the training room, you are still, donning that robe of a trainer. So, the thinking, the thought process, how can I learn? How can I put more value to what I'm doing? How can I make it better for everyone? So when we are constantly thinking in that process, then our learnings also become much, much profound and more effective. So trainers should never let themselves get disconnected with the audience. They have to be there for them at all times. And not to be too repetitive, very, very well prepared. In fact, you should rehearse the complete presentation before you present it to your trainees. So, like I started off with five minutes. My diaries are full of my five minutes preparation. So 5 minutes, I'm going to do this. Then next 5 minutes, what am I going to do? Then next 5 minutes, what am I going to do? So preparation matters. A lot of reading. So, I mean, these are some of the tips I can give. So, Sapna, does that answer your question?
Yes, Divya, definitely yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, hello ma'am, Sucheta here.
Hello, Sucheta. You look, yeah, please.
Yes, sorry, ma'am, you are speaking so good. I mean, you could speak continuously without any pause. So, could you please tell us how to avoid the feelers between our communication? Because this is something which comes naturally. So, how to avoid the feelers?
Yeah. So actually, what do the fillers show? My question to you is, why do we need fillers? We need fillers when there is a disconnect in the thought process, right? Whenever we are speaking, what are we actually doing? We are just expressing the thought, the pattern that is in my head, and I'm just expressing it to you. If this pattern is continuous, my speech is also going to be continuous. But if this pattern is disconnected, then my speech is also going to be, full of pauses and fillers. So, important thing is to connect the ideas here. That's what I believe in. Like I said, anything, suppose in your environment, something which has attracted you and you want to talk about it. So, the moment you talk about a certain topic or an object or an idea or a feeling or an emotion or anything, I mean, it can be anything in the world, but immediately, what are the next ideas that are getting connected to it? Pen them down, write them down, and see the connections that you are making. You have to train your brain for this. And when you are speaking, record yourself. So when you record yourself and you listen to yourself again, you will get to know, oh, I paused here, I could have spoken about this. And then re-record and again see, are you making any progress there? Don't give up. Just record yourself for a minute and listen to yourself again and again. How is my voice sounding? Am I happy with what I'm saying? Am I liking the sound of my own voice? If not, then how can I make it better? If yes, then how can I take it a notch higher? So in both the ways, there is room for improvement. And it really helps because all these tricks and techniques that I'm telling you, I've applied them myself and I've learned through them. So if you're saying that today I'm speaking fluently, it's come with a lot of practice. And it is all about training the brain. So that is what trainers are there for. So Suchita, does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with you, and I'll try the trick and tips you have given. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much. So as trainers, words are our tools. When I say that a carpenter cannot make a table, it doesn't have nails, hammer, table. Wood. He needs some tools to create a table. What do we need? We need our words. We need our voice. We need our ideas. We need that connecting pattern. Only then we can present anything to the audience, to the trainees. So that is what we have to learn, right? So they are the tools of thinking. Words are the tools of thinking. So master them.
Good evening, Divya madam, and it is very pleasure to see the way you are speaking and the joy of speaking. It is coming through your face, and thank you also for sharing the learnings of whole of life. And the question that I'm putting up is, ma'am, is there any special course that you would suggest for the effective communication skills to improve them, like to master them?
Okay, ma'am? I think self-learning is the best course because any course for improving effective communication skills, I'm so sorry, I cannot recommend any particular course, but I can again just share with you insights. How have I seen people improving in communication skills? So whenever you are communicating, first of all, you have to decide what exactly is it that you're wanting to express. Now, communication is a very complicated process. It's a very complex process. It's not only about words. It's how you're wanting to express, what are you wanting to express, why do you want to express, and where is that communication taking place. So, internalizing the process of communication and making it a part of your personality, that will come on an individual level. So even if there is a course, that course will be directed at a batch where there may be 40 or 50 people. Each one internalizing that communication learnings is going to depend on his or her mindset. So if you try to learn these skills, you just start absorbing from your environment. The nature is communicating, the animals are communicating, even the signal at the traffic signal is communicating something. So what are these messages that are coming to us? And what are the messages that I'm wanting to convey to others? So become an effective receiver, and then in turn you become an effective speaker also. That is again my learning that I'm offering you. So I cannot say of a particular course which would just make you very proficient in communication skills. You'll have to maybe do a little bit of finding out on your own, a little more hard work. Yeah.
Right.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And I would take another minute of yours, please. And could you also tell me, this is a confusion that has been lying with me for quite a long time. Is paralinguistic a part of non-verbal communication or verbal communication?
Okay. So paralinguistic, and do you take up classes for communication? Very few people ask such technical questions.
I do, ma'am. Yes,
so, ma'am. Yeah. So verbal and paraverbal, paralinguistic and non-verbal, these are the three components of communication to help us understand the process, the nitty-gritties of communication effectively. Now, non-verbal is non-verbal. it cannot include paralinguistic or paraverbal. It is completely non-verbal. So if you have to include this, it will come in verbal. Because non-verbal is very independent and it occupies such a dominant place in communication today that I feel people are more worried about non-verbal, and that is how verbal communication has taken a backslide. So understanding not only the words but how to say those words is also very, very important. And that is why, so many challenges are being faced by all around us, you can see. You, instead of, compartmentalizing it in this manner, you just concentrate, if we just concentrate on words, we just concentrate on how to say those words and what body language should go with those words. I just concentrate on these three components. And if these three components are working effectively, you are being an effective communicator. And the more detailing you do, even if theoretically all the concepts are all in place, how much of it we are using in the practical usage, how much of it is actually being conveyed, that is more important. That is why it said the art and science of communication. You may understand all the theory, but how much of it is being applied in the practical life, that is important. So I just took up a workshop for verbal communication for all the professors, and all this was a part of it. But I personally don't delve too much into it. I just make it verbal, how to say, what to say, and of course the matching body language with it. Yeah, this is for all the trainers, but of course the trainers, when they are training the trainees, then you have to get into more detailing. Yeah.
Right, ma'am.
So your question
Shukriya,
is very
shukriya.
valid.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, your question is very valid. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So my message for trainers would be that all of us have a huge responsibility because we are filling the gaps. We are there to transform lives. We are there to make things better for everyone. So it is not going to be easy. It's a tough responsibility that we have taken upon ourselves. So the room for self-improvement is very, very large. And we have to be constantly working at it. We can never say that I've reached there and now that's it. No, that time will never come. You will be always on a journey of improving yourselves and discovering new challenges, new talents about yourselves and new potential. So just continue being that way. And you will sparkle, you will shine. Like I say, everyone shine like stars. You have it in you. So you have to illuminate the place with your brilliance wherever you may be. And that potential is there in each one of us. So that is what I would wish to say. And that is what I would wish to conclude with. Yes?
Yes,
There's something?
very great learnings we got today. We are very thankful to you, ma'am, for joining us today and making our day so productive by sharing useful learning. And thank you so much for your valuable time and enlightening us with your presence. We are honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been truly a pleasure for me being here, seeing the young trainers, asking such relevant questions, working together, creating a platform. There are so many things that I've learned today. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I really thoroughly enjoyed being on this show. So all the good wishes to each one of you and keep doing the good work. Yeah.